Welcome to Own the Chaos. The stock market is crazy and chaotic.
And crash. You son
Oh, God. Hold on. Pause.
Brad and Fat Man Zoom are here to help you own it.
They were targeting Wall Street when they should have been targeting Capitol Hill. They should have been targeting DC. This is the same thing, and this is what people keep missing.
Taking it to the suits, being relatable and hilarious.
You bought GameStop at 400, didn't you? To the moon, baby. To the moon.
Get ready to own the chaos in 3, 2, 1.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Chaos. My name is Brad. That is Fat Man Zoom. The stock market is crazy and chaotic, and goddamn it, today has been also that Fat Man Zoom. But before we get into any of our thoughts, why don't we hit everybody up with the starting five?
Starting five today is Lindsay Heiss, Fernando Pereira, Scott Sherwood, John Gosson, and Savvy Money Show. You are our starting five. Welcome to Stock Market Live. We are going to discuss couple key topics. We have some headlines that we're going to be bringing to the table. Obviously, SoFi continued its massive run. Unfortunately, the market, while it started good, did not end so good. So we'll sort of discuss what's going on there and what that means moving forward. And last but not least is Netflix earnings. We have Netflix earnings today, and maybe this can right the ship. We will start discussing that. Make sure you guys stick around to the end. At 4 o'clock, once the bell rings, we'll go ahead and turn our attention to the charts. We'll also be looking at Twitter to report the earnings to you, give you our live reaction, and then go from there. But with all that being said, it's Thursday, and Thursday is Freddie Valoy Day. So let me welcome your friend and ours, Freddie Valoy.
Hey,
what is up, guys? How's it going? I just pulled out a crazy booger from my nose. You know those boogers? There's this like hairs attached and all that. I just did that. There was like a fucking license plate. It was all sorts of stuff. My eyes are watering. This is nuts. What's up, Chaos Crew? Hope you guys are doing well. I see the markets are crazy. The world is just a crazy place. You know, the other day I gave this white guy the N-word pass, and he turned it into an NFT. Donated 100% of the proceeds to the NAACP. What do I do with that? I don't know. You know, this is the day that we live in. Netflix earnings are today. That's good. Everybody's, maybe they might be doing the whole Netflix and chill. I know the Catholic priest will be doing Netflix and children. You know what I'm saying, guys? Bada bing, baby. You guys know that, some people will tell you that it's the man that makes the clothes. Other people will tell you that it's the clothes that make the man. But we all know in the Chaos Crew that it's children that make the clothing, guys, right? It is children that make the clothing. These children are keeping us fresh to death. These children are keeping the drip alive, baby. Shout out to China. Hello, China. What's up, baby? I love this country, but I also love China. I'm just hedging my bets, baby. I see where the wind is blowing, you know? If China wants to sponsor my podcast, go ahead. Patreon.com/Freddie Valoy. I will spew propaganda. All right? China runs a tight ship. Guys, I like to speak positively about China, especially into microphones, because I know they're listening, you know? I just want to make sure that if they do end up taking over in 10 to 20 years, they can look back at the records and be like, this guy, Freddie, he's been with us since 2021. He's texting his friends Chinese flags at 3 a.m, you know? By the way, guys, if you want to get out of a group chat, respond with a Chinese flag. You'll never be invited into any group chat again. So if you're anti-group chat, just hit them with the Chinese flag. Back to you guys in the Chaos Crew.
Bro, you were on fire today.
Thank you, sir.
Not gonna lie, that was pretty good.
One of my new favorite pastimes, Freddie, is to watch you in like off studio. So you guys that are watching can't see Freddie before we bring him in, but we can see him. And there's just a lot of like feeling, like there's just a lot going on. I don't know what you realize you're doing. Like just you're feeling yourself, like literally.
I've lost 15 pounds, so I'm probably like, oh my God, I had muscles there. I can't believe I'm like getting used to them again.
I have to say as well, Fat Man Zoom, I don't know what you have on your person, but you smell amazing today.
Oh, thanks.
Man. Oh, nice.
It does smell very good.
He's got that Drakkar Noir, baby.
Yeah. It's that brute.
Yeah, or curve.
um, yeah, so we are going to bring a couple of headlines. We'll get Freddie's reaction on it, and you guys feel free to throw in the comments any responses you have on any topics that we're discussing, questions you may have. We already have a good activity in the chat. We had just have Shane Haley with a fun fact saying, I don't know if you could pull that one up.
Yeah, I got it.
Not so fun fact is the worst January for Nasdaq in the history of the stock market. Is that true?
I don't know, but if it is, it's not surprising.
Wow, that's crazy. Brad's after another hoodie. I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
I don't know either.
Another pen hoodie or another Peloton hoodie or something?
A lot of people are talking about Peloton. We'll definitely talk about Peloton. It's going to be a topic of discussion. But since you talked about it, Freddie, China, I just want to start with China since we've already had that discussion.
China, real quick, just a heads up, Freddie. There's a very high chance that we might crash today, so you might have to
just keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. I'll vamp.
Okay.
So we know the story behind China. It's been a tough go in Chinese markets. We've talked about maybe it's coming back to life. Maybe the worst is behind us as far as Chinese markets are concerned.
Yeah.
And Brad, more news came out that yesterday from China that looked to be good news, and the market responded accordingly. When you look at the Chinese stock, whether it be Baba, Pinduoduo, Neo, all were green today.
Yeah, you look at Baba, and it gave back a lot of its gains. It was up 6% this morning. We're around the highs, so pretty good stuff. This might be a direction or something in the right direction, but there was something else that came out as far as China was concerned. And now I can't remember. I actually had it ready to go.
What do you mean, the rate cuts?
No, not the rate cuts. There was something else.
So that's why it's up, by the way, guys.
Yeah, that's why it went up. But then there was something, I don't know, that created the selling again. I don't know what it was. But anyways, yeah, it's given back a lot of its gains, but it's at least looking like it's going to end the day green, which is always great. I actually was looking at this on the daily. If this closes above the 50-day, which is right around that 131 area, kind of where it's sitting right now, I think we could be in good shape. We haven't seen it above the 50-day since November of last year. So I know it wasn't that long ago, but still pretty decent amount of time. We'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I mean, just what I want to touch on as far as China is concerned, I'm just curious. Listen, the whole market's giving its gains back, so maybe there's other news as well. But I'm looking at this, and you all right over there?
Is that you? Is that me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just got out of the sauna, so I'm a little lightheaded.
So one thing I'm curious about is China now realizing, hey, we gotta straighten things out, and obviously overcorrect in the sense of, they've been cracking the whips on a lot of companies, and at the end of the day, you got to be a player in the global market, and potentially, I mean, this is maybe a bit of a reach, but I'm wondering if they're looking at things like, well, hey, we gotta boost our economy back up, because at the end of the day, cash is king. So hopefully we see more positive news coming out of China, and maybe this is sort of the start of it.
Yes, sir.
I got a couple topics, but do you have any topics that you wanted to bring to the table?
I had one, and I wanted to give Freddie's insights on, and that is Congress and being able to trade whatever the hell they want. This is a headline that continues to actually build momentum, Freddie. And I was kind of like, when I first heard about it, I kind of dismissed it. I was like, whatever, this has been something that's been going on forever. But when you look at some of the headlines that we're seeing, it's actually pretty remarkable. Let me turn your attention to the screen here as I share it. And this is from Unusual Whales. This is a platform that shares all kinds of really useful information. And you can see how House members and purchasing securities in 2020 and how they've actually performed. These are all outperformers of the stock market. Nancy Pelosi kind of leading the way there, and Susan Delbean. And this isn't a partisan issue. Okay, you can see that Greg Giaforte, I think that's how you pronounce it, Mark Green, Michael Conaway, Kevin Hearn, also Republicans. So this is actually split right down the middle. This is a bipartisan effort to engage in maybe some unethical trading. Nobody's been able to actually prove that, but certainly seems as if some of these trades that get made are before specific events take place, specifically with laws and that sort of things being made. Now, there's still no proof, like I said, that this is actually happening, Freddie. But to me, and I definitely want to get your thoughts on this as just kind of like a regular everyday person that's not actively in the markets like us. But to me, it's kind of like, an NFL player being able to gamble on NFL games. To me, that kind of seems as if that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
It does not. And I'm with you. I think these politicians, one, they shouldn't be allowed to do shit like this. I mean, there was right before COVID or something, there was a North Carolina congressman that did exactly what you said. There was an event that was coming up. He clearly made his stock move based on an event he knew that was coming up and ended up making a ton of money. That shit should definitely not be allowed. It's crazy that it's even going on. I think we should storm the Capitol again.
Perhaps. But I was actually like just thinking, and this is another chart that Christian's put, or Fat Man Zoom's putting up.
Yeah, this is from Jeff Ponecchia. He put it in our Discord a little while ago. This is more recent. So this is 2021, and it's actually beating the SPY. So if you look at the bottom, you can see the SPY return for 2021.
That's the bottom. Yeah, that gray bar there is the SPY, or the S&P 500 ETF.
So Nancy Pelosi is in here. She's a top Democrat, but she looks like number 6. But yeah, I wish we actually had percentages. Shout out to Jeff for throwing that in there. But
yeah,
if you look, Austin Scott crushed it.
Yeah. And that was the other guy, Dan Crenshaw, a couple other ones. Like these are all pretty big names that are just crushing the stock market. And again, like I said, this isn't just a partisan issue. So I feel like this doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on or the aisle you're on. This is a big issue to me, regardless of whether you're a Democrat or Republican.
100%. And so the first one you showed, the one you showed before this was last year, and this is this year.
Yeah, so that was 2020. Yeah. This is 2021.
Yeah, so for all intents and purposes, it's pretty even. They're all pieces of shit that are on this list. Like this is insane.
Yeah. And this is returns. So this is what they made. So like the SPY did well last year, even though that gray bar is very small. It actually was a really good year.
Yeah, like 27%.
So I don't know what, like Austin's got. It looks like it's probably 5 times. So it clearly over 100% returns. But yeah, I don't know how you regulate it. I don't see why. I'm not saying that politicians shouldn't benefit from the market, but like, I think they should just be obligated to just put it into like the SPY or some ETF, and you shouldn't be able to hold individual securities because there's just such a high likelihood that you're going to be determining legislation based around that potentially.
Yeah.
And so that, or at least you can't touch anything while you have a decision. Hey, you can convert everything to ETF and maybe grant a special exemption as far as tax relief to roll that over, or you got to keep your shit. You can't buy, you can't sell.
Yeah.
And you got to roll with it.
Yeah, I think that one. They shouldn't be allowed to do anything. There's nobody get paid enough. They don't even have term limits. Like fuck these people. They're like both. Like somebody told me that politics is Hollywood for ugly people. These people, they're just power hungry fucks. They should not be allowed to do any of that stuff. We should be pimping these guys out. And I hate that our culture has celebritized politicians. It's the problem. We are the issue at the end of the day, because if we stop buying stuff, companies will stop making it. That's the beauty of capitalism. And this applies in the same context. Fuck these people. Yeah, dude, I can't take it.
I worked for a financial institution before I decided to take the YouTube route. And I was limited on the types of stuff that I could do in the stock market. Like obviously not trading my own company that I worked for, but like, I was limited on the amount of trades that I can make in a given month. And so like for me, as somebody who's actually in the industry who was severely limited, and to look at, politicians that made those laws for me, it's just mind blowing. Like they can do whatever they want, but me working at a financial institution who has the education to be able to do stuff like that is has their hands tied. And that just, to me, it's just mind blowing.
Yeah. It's almost like the making marijuana legal thing. Like if you juxtapose it with alcohol and how much more dangerous alcohol is, but alcohol is legal everywhere, just by that standard alone, marijuana should be illegal. But we know there's other things that's kind of semi-related to what's going on here. It's like corruption type things that don't allow it to be so. It kind of like supersedes logic. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
I like your segue here, Zero Blue Ox. If we stop buying, companies stop making, which was what Freddie said, that is foreshadowing to Peloton. Peloton got absolutely hammered today. And Freddie, I don't know if you're a Peloton guy. We have a Peloton in studio. I'm a big fan of the product of Peloton. But, it's been a challenge coming out of COVID, slowing demand. And we've seen sort of like the writings on the wall, and the news just seems to get worse, where they just announced that they're actually now stopping production of the Peloton treadmills and the bikes on just like low demand or no demand. And so I don't think they're going to make a manufacturer a Tread Plus until 2023, which is crazy. So and subsequently the stock is down. But thoughts on that? I mean, I don't know if you've caught the bug with the Peloton hype, or if you're not a fan of that. But what do you think, Freddie, about Peloton?
This kind of makes sense, I guess, because I never got the hype. I like that people were getting more fit, but I never really truly understood the hype of the Peloton. So, yeah, I guess, yeah. This kind of makes sense.
Something that I was actually big on, because I thought that this was going to stick. Just because of the hybrid working from home type of deal. Not that I thought that people were just going to stay at home forever, but just the hybrid approach. At least if you don't want to go out and do something, you could still engage in like a Peloton and the other products that they were coming out. I thought made sense. This is really disappointing, and a firm also getting hammered. That's down 2%. And you could see that it actually had a really strong reaction once that news came out with a pretty decent bounce, but is now rolling over. Firm, one of Peloton's biggest clients or biggest partners. So that also being impacted here with the Peloton news.
Well, so the question more for you, Brad, here is this just like a lack of quality management? Because when you look back, let's rewind the clock. If you remember, when COVID happened and the demand was through the roof, do you remember how they rushed to like increase capacity and they started spending money out the ass rather than just being okay with extra demand and letting it play out, and almost, building like with scarcity, almost like building demand and continuing that? They tried to just satisfy all the demand, and that now creates their problem, because they indicated that the reason they're doing this obviously is because demand's slowing, but they're not going to focus on cost cutting, which is just it's just an oop-de-oop. Like they're just saying something. The reality is they don't see the demand there. And I'm wondering if two things happen. One is you just went too hard in the paint when you could have just been patient and you could have just continued to say, hey, we still got high demand. We still got backlog and demand. And then the other thing that happened is, now that you've spent so much money and you're screwed, like you're kind of stuck with those costs. Is this just like a breakdown in leadership?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like that you're in a situation where it's potentially a once in a lifetime event with the pandemic, right? And you're already 8 to 10 weeks behind on sales. And at the time when investors saw how far behind they were on getting the product out after, purchases were made, that also hurt them. So CEO leadership was under an immense amount of pressure to get the product out. And so it's kind of like, do I take advantage of this opportunity that's in front of me to try to get product out? But this kind of plays into my theory about just the supply chain problem, right? A lot of companies are doing this where they're overbuying, and then once the supply finally comes in and they're flush with inventory, what does that look like? And I think that there's potential for another correction after the one that we're in right now because of that. So maybe Peloton is that first domino to fall. I'm not sure. Obviously, it's a little bit different situation here because we're talking about just a piece of workout equipment. But who knows? I think that could definitely be tied to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a mistake. Listen, yes, the market might not be happy with delays, but that is so easy to shift and say, hey, we got, a pipeline that's deep. And if you really are like afraid that you're going to miss the boat, you don't have a good enough product.
Yeah.
Right. Like all you're going to do is end up building anticipation. Like there's few products that if they're that good that people don't mind waiting for. good stuff people have no issue waiting for, whether they like it or not, especially something like a Peloton. Nobody else wanted, like, okay, there's a small subset of people who might have wanted a different bike, but people wanted a Peloton.
Yeah.
Anybody wanted a bike, you were going to that Peloton. So it feels like they're now chasing their tail, and they should have known better, in my opinion, because it's so easy to just say, hey, demand's going to continue to go up, and all you have to do is adjust the delays. I mean, look at Tesla, for Christ's sake.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Tesla hasn't released a Cybertruck. How long has that been?
Yeah.
Like, some people don't like it at first, but nobody's bailing on Cybertruck. Nobody's bailing on Tesla with delays. And so I think that maybe they could have managed the PR a bit better. But I think a company, especially that's not profitable, if they were profitable, had cash, maybe that's a different story, but not profitable.
Yeah.
I wish they would have just leaned into, hey, well, let's just keep doing what we're doing and work on tightening demand. Hindsight's 2020. I'm aware of that. Obviously, I didn't see this coming either. But I think what the key is, when we listen to their earnings, and we've talked about this time and time again, what is the churn rate? And if they still have strong community, I think that'll speak to their long-term horizon, right? But that's really going to be the key. Like, it's going to be paying short-term no matter what.
Yeah.
But if we start seeing cracks in their armor from the community perspective and their churn rate, then I would be like freaking out about it.
Yeah, same. I would be too. And the surprising thing to me too was that their subscription model is solid. They have hardly any turnover, and so for me, I thought that there's very low churn rate is what I was getting at, and so I thought that part of their business was very strong, and I think it continues to be strong. But yeah, I mean, like a lot of people, everywhere I see overpriced bikes is what people continue to lean on, and so that I think what is the word I'm looking for? It kind of excludes a lot of people that might be interested in that. Imagine if they just kind of leaned into the subscription side of things and made the bike cheaper. What would that look like?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Well, they've already started to do that.
I know, but like from the jump.
Yeah. So next topic is SoFi. SoFi continued its run today. Obviously, listen, the story is all the stocks pulled back, but it's still green. It had a great run today, still looking very strong. I mean, how long is this run going to last? How long can this run last? And do you see, like it continuing in the near term to continue to run up?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, getting that bank charter license was big. And we talked about this briefly yesterday. I had mentioned that at the time, I think it was up 11, 12% when we were talking about it yesterday. I said that there's plenty of room for this to continue to run because now it's a bank, right? It's going to be held to the same standard as a Bank of America or PNC or Wells Fargo, but they're also a growth company. So I think it gets best of both there. And the potential for growth here is extensive. Today, it went all the way up to the 50-day moving average and immediately got rejected, but it's still looking like it's going to close somewhere around 10% for the day, which is great. I think the momentum's certainly here. If we can get above the 50-day, I don't know what's stopping SoFi at this point.
Yeah, and this is, massively undervalued. Now, obviously, it's a tech. It's not profitable. There's a lot of things working against it that we've talked about as far as why it's been beaten down.
Yeah.
But this has some huge upside. Obviously, maybe some short-term headwinds, but man, I think it can continue to go, especially when it starts talking about, when their rollout of their bank products are going to be. I don't know what that process looks like or what the timeline is on that.
Yeah.
That should be interested, guys. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. We are close to the bell. We're going to be going live, we're going to be giving our reaction live on the Netflix earnings. So make sure you guys stick around for that. But let's talk about the overall market and the Qs in particular, because I mean, you're in your level 3 today. You talked about, you were a little bit iffy on how the market responded upon open. And so you had a close eye on it and it looked like we were in the clear. And of course we were not. And, pretty much the market gave back all its gains.
Yeah. This was the key level that I was watching was the 200-day moving average. We're going to close below that on the Qs. That gives me a lot of concern here, especially for those who are in tech, and not just tech in general, but speculative tech, high value tech. Looks like the pain is going to continue here. I think that this, to me, if I was a shorting man, I would be shorting the Qs today. Like this to me would be an opportunity to take either buy some puts or just short the market here. So because I think that this breaking the 200-day means that there's probably more pain here, and we're still have ways to go on the SPYs. We look at the S&P, it's getting close to its 200-day, which is down to 441. It's crazy. It bounced up over 4,600 briefly. The S&P did, or 460 for the SPY, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. It's breaking out of the trend, so I think that we could still endure a little bit more pain. Maybe the earnings start to turn things around, but until we hear from the Fed, I think this is more of what we see.
Yeah. And I could even see a little bit of a fake out. Like we could see a green day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or next week, but I'm with you on that one. And we talked about this, I mentioned quarter one. I was really suspect of quarter one, and I thought that there was very much going to be a correction in quarter one.
Yeah.
I can't say I thought it was going to come this soon. I thought it was going to actually be after the majority of the earnings. But man, these earnings are going to be very interesting to see how this plays, because there's a lot of things competing here that, you could be bearish on. So
yeah, same here. I thought that I had another week in me before we started to see things move down, but it started much earlier than I thought it would have. But this is playing out almost exactly how we said it was going to towards the end of last year with this correction here.
Don's trailing the SQQQ, shorting all three index and futures contracts, and bought a Netflix call, so they better announce they bought Disney or HBO. I don't think that's possible, but maybe they bought Fubo.
We're getting close to being oversold on SPY, by the way. Pretty close.
Back to SoFi real quick. Gabriel Navarro says, that's not the right one. It says SoFi Stadium with Super Bowl coming. Obviously it's going to be at SoFi Stadium. I don't know if that does anything for the stock.
I don't think so.
As much as we want to try to convince ourselves. No.
I can't believe Microsoft is ready after the day it had. I just can't believe it.
Yeah, there's a lot.
It was crazy.
Where's Ford sitting at?
Oh, I don't want to know. Ford actually closed the gap, and it was acting like it should have. Yeah, it's below it now.
Ooh.
Yep.
Ooh.
So it actually, I thought, today looked like it was promising for Ford. It closed the gap here and bounced right off of that 2190 area. And I was like, all right, this feels better. This looks good. Just going to continue to hang out and see what happens. And then the whole market just took a dive. I was looking at the 10-year too. Where's the 10-year at? It looked like it was starting to move up. Shoot.
This SoFi conversation is very triggering to me. Because I'm paying them back for student loans, and you guys are making money off of them. So I'm like, what's going on here? I feel like I should just be Venmoing the Chaos Crew some money. Cut the middleman out.
Yeah. You could have made money off of SoFi and then paid student loans with that money you made off of SoFi.
Damn it. That's such a good idea.
What's up, Snookaroo? Snookaroo says there's always AMC. There is always AMC. There's always got AMC.
God damn. That thing is 10. Oh no. Shoo. I was like, what? But it's in the teens. Yeah, $18. Remember how many people told us it was going to 100K?
Oh, damn. That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bro, the crowd for AMC to like just 1,000 was wild.
Yeah, that I don't know shit, but I know it wasn't going to do 100K. That's like, yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
They should, SoFi tries to be a trendsetter and tries to do new things. They are positioning themselves as a bank of the people. They offered IPO shares, pre-IPO to any account holders, to specific account holders. So that's like their angle. If that's the angle, I feel like they should do some crazy incentive, like, hey, if you buy our stock, part of it will pay. We'll forgive your loan. Whatever you put in, we'll forgive part of your loan.
Oh, that's a
That'd be
good
cool
idea.
little incentive.
Yeah, that's a bomb idea. Zero Blue Ox. Sorry, I can't pay back my student loans. I lost it all in your stock.
AMC apes will be extinct by the time AMC gets anywhere near 100K.
Yes, they're pretty close.
Is that 100K market cap? Is that what they meant?
No, the price.
That's just a joke.
Oh, my bad.
It's 4:00. All right, so we're at the bell. Did you want to talk about the 10-year?
No, I just wanted to talk about the overall market. So after what seemed as if it was going to be a decent day, especially halfway through, towards the end of the day, we saw a huge acceleration of the sell-off. The S&P closed down 50 points, which is good for over 1%. The Dow's down another 1%. And the Nasdaq got hammered again, now down 1.5%. After it was up 2% today.
Yeah,
up 2%. So a 3.5% swing going into the end of the day, and that is also down. So really rough day at the close. I don't even know what to say to this. This is just crazy. I mean, we saw it coming, but to this extent, this fast, this far down, and it's just wild.
That makes me wonder just about generally earnings, and even if you have good earnings, like how tough that's going to be to overcome it. And you have something like Netflix. So getting into Netflix earnings, first off, let me give you the numbers breakdown. 82 cents a share is the expected earnings per share. Revenues expected to come in at 7.71 billion. And so we already know sort of the issues and where we need to go. So like the issues as I see them are rate of growth, subscriber growth, new content. We've talked about that. Is there anything you really expect to look for or see from this earnings?
The shame of Netflix has everything to do with subscriber growth. Like none of it matters. And that's the really disappointing part about this whole
nothing
thing.
else matters.
Yeah. I mean, that's like investors, they just don't give a shit about anything else. They could be a super profitable, smash earnings per share out of the water. But as long as that subscriber growth number is low, they don't care. They're going to sell it. And right now the stock is down 8% after hours. Damn. After closing the day, down 1.5%. Netflix is getting absolutely hammered. So I imagine those numbers are out. And that's the real shame of these types of companies. That's why I decided to sell Disney too, because it's starting to fall into that category of like, they don't care about the parks. They don't care about the movies. They don't care about any of that. What's the subscriber growth? And if it's not good, then they're selling.
Yeah. So the numbers did come in. They beat on earnings per share. Revenue came in line. People are saying they missed. It pretty much came in line. So 133 a share. Earnings per share came in. It was, I mentioned 82 cents. Estimates, 7.71 billion is what revenue came in. There's something else there. A couple notes I'm just seeing right here. Their guidance came in lower.
The guidance
looks like, on both earnings per share and revenue. It looks like they were guiding $3.43 earnings per share. It came to 286. Revenue 8.11 billion. It came in actually at 7.9 billion. You could talk on that while I read this article.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at the chart here now. I broke it out to the 4 hour just to kind of see where we're at. We haven't seen these levels down at 461. I'm trying to break this back out. So right now we're at 461. We haven't seen Netflix down here since November of 2020. That's where we're at. And so if it can't hold this 460 area, could get even uglier for Netflix, and there's potential for this to come down to 440. This is crazy. The stock was all the way up to 700, almost, we'll call it 700.
Hello? Oh man, I think this is them going down. How did they know they were going down? I think Fat Man Zoom and Brad already work for China. That's how they knew this technical difficulty was going to happen. And it happens after hours. Dude, what the fuck is up with Netflix? Hey guys, I'm going to start convincing people to stop sharing passwords. Stop stealing Netflix accounts, because I feel bad for anybody who's lost money on Netflix. Or was it my Catholic priest Netflix and children joke? Could have been, because the Catholic Church is just running shit. Hey, what's up, Fat Man Zoom?
No, keep chatting, bro. We're loading back up.
How did you guys know that it was going to go down?
We freeze.
We figured out what the problem was, and I can't fix it right now.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Like an episode of Knight Rider. I like it. Hey, so why is Netflix down? What's going on? Are people stealing too many passwords? People sharing too many accounts?
You know, the one thing that that's interesting is, and this kind of feels like Peloton. I'm interested when Brad loads back up on what his thoughts are, but it feels very similar to Peloton. I don't love their strategy. First off, let me be honest, and I'm going to kick them while they're down. I hate the fact that they have co-CEOs. Like, so last year they added a second CEO, Freddie, with a rare move. So they had Reed Hastings, who'd been running it for forever, right? And then they just decide we're going to add another CEO, which to me feels like, hey, you're not really doing your job, so we're going to put somebody in there, but we don't have the balls to get rid of you. So I never really understood that move. But in addition to that, they continue to raise prices in spite of the fact that their subscribers are coming down. I don't love that move. That seems like a desperate move where you're like trying to squeeze more money out of the people you have rather than just taking care of them and finding ways to bide your time until more people come back in.
Yeah, this new recent price raise, I was like, ooh, that's a weird one. Even Black Twitter was making tweets about it, and it was not good.
So that'll be interesting. It looks like Brad's coming back in. Hold, please.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, so looked like net subscribers came in at about 8 million, which was a decent number. They talked about new content. Emily in Paris, which I know, Freddie, you're a big fan of. Is there a new season out?
Yeah, season 2 is out. Season 1 was great. Good feel-good story. I used to smoke a blunt and watch Emily in Paris as like a ritual. Season 2, she's being a little stressful. She's being a messy lady, and I'm at episode 5. But yeah, she's stressing me out. Her decision making this season,
Yeah, so listen, we don't know. This is speculation on why we think a stock's down. But obviously the guidance is always key, and it looks like they lowered guidance. But what I really wanted to get your perspective on that, Brad. Like, I don't love the fact that they keep raising prices, especially when they just did it.
Yeah.
And it just feels desperate to me.
Yeah, I think that there's, it worked for a time, right? Let's raise the price $1, and then automatically we're getting another $180 billion in revenue. And so then that was exciting for a time. Now they're raising revenue, or they're raising prices, and revenue isn't increasing. So that to me feels like Netflix is slowing down, and some of their other competition is really starting to carve their way into the market, into the space rather.
That's a good point. I just want to jump in real quick.
Yeah,
that's a good point, because like you can raise prices when you're kind of the only kid on the block. You know, Netflix took on big cable, but like they're no longer the only kid on the block. So like that's another interesting side of things.
Yeah, because at what point are you going to raise prices? And this goes for all the streaming services, because they're all doing it.
Yeah.
At what point do you just throw your hands up?
Throw your hands up in the air like you just don't care. At what point do you just throw your hands up and check if you have deodorant? Guys, are you guys wearing deodorant? How you guys smelling out there? Let's see. Oh, Peaky Blinders is great. Oh, they're still able to press buttons. Peaky Blinders, great great show. Disney's down 2.5%.
I'm just gonna keep flowing, baby. I'll keep flowing. I'll go a cappella. Boys to Men style. You want to talk to the microphone? Yeah. So no, it's all right. So yeah, I was just saying it wouldn't surprise me that Disney's also reacting, and as Brad mentioned, just in regards to the general. Nobody cares what else Disney does other than streaming. They're viewing it from a streaming lens. So it'd be interesting.
Savvy Money Show. At what point do you throw your hands up and cause the stream to freeze?
I know at some point. Yeah, we just shut it down.
It's overheating. That's the problem. So
oh, okay. Oh, damn.
Brad's
Y'all,
close to being triggered. Yeah. So everybody be careful.
the what?
I said Brad's close to being triggered. So everybody
About you're good. This is Ted Kaczynski warned us about this. Depending too much on technology is going to ruin society. So I've been reading his manifesto. Good stuff.
How far are you through that?
I'm 10 pages into a 34-page manifesto. I'm taking notes and everything. I just recorded my first episode on it for the Patreon.
Nice. Hey, did you see the book I sent you? The snapshot for the book I sent you?
I did not see the image. I was in the gym, so I didn't open it up. What was the title? You said it's my next read.
Yeah, the title is Clap When You Land, and it's got a big airplane.
Dude, bro, I've been doing it because I know social media is like, oh my God, this person clap. Hell no, bro. You know, our people clap when they land, so I'm bringing that to the mainstream.
When did that become a thing? Like
clapping when you land?
What?
Clapping when you land? When did that become a thing?
Yeah, because that's like a Hispanic thing. Like I know Puerto Rico, they do it. They do it when you land in Dominican.
Yes. Yeah. It's like a superstitious thing. Like we just went up thousands of feet. I think it's rooted in superstition. Social media has been speaking negatively about it since about 2015, 2016. So I've started at my last couple flights. If my girl doesn't stop my hands from hitting together, I start clapping even if it's like a flight to Charlotte, like a 30-minute flight. I'm just like, it's funny. I don't know.
My first trip to Puerto Rico was 2001. I don't remember them clapping. Maybe they did, but obviously every flight I've been recently has.
They've been clapping?
Dimitri said clapping when you land is an old school thing. Okay, maybe I just forgot. I feel like I remembered my first flight, them clapping.
Hey, just to prove my point real quick on Netflix and their low subscriber growth, I got two headlines here, one from Yahoo Finance and one from CNBC, and they both say the same thing, that Netflix is down over 11% on slowing subscriber growth. So something's going to have to be done as far as that's concerned. Investors are going to have to look at this from a different lens other than just subscriber growth.
Well,
who's the number two? Who's number two behind Netflix and like streaming service subscribers? Disney. Right? Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. But you also got to take that with a grain of salt because a lot of people just repeat the headlines that they see.
True. But that's been the main focus.
Their subscribers, although actually were above expectations, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it plays out. I mean, again, this is going to be the story to earnings. I'm not sure what you got to do to really blow out earnings this time of year. So we'll see.
Okay. All right.
Are you in prayer position, friend?
This is a comfortable way for me to just kind of like chill. You know, I don't allow society's rules on men to get in the way
it's fine, bro.
My comfort. Where's Hulu at in the because Hulu has a lot of anime. No, nothing.
That's also owned by Disney.
That's owned by Disney.
Oh,
that's
good for Disney. Fuck yeah.
But still, Hulu's numbers. I mean, you got Disney, ESPN, Hulu. Hulu is third on that list in Disney.
Okay.
But some people like Hulu. Whatever. It's icing on the cake, I think, for Disney. I don't think they have any expectations that it's going to run the show. For them, it's going to be Disney and ESPN that takes it over the top.
Okay.
Don't sleep on YouTube TV. My man Rudy Brown said something earlier about, his kids don't watch as much Netflix. They watch YouTube Kids. Mini Zoom watches only YouTube Kids. And we've talked about companies that can hook the kids. YouTube TV will be interesting to see how they play in this game because there's been zero conversation around YouTube TV when it's concerned to Alphabet, who owns Google. Well, and Google, they own YouTube. They have so many other opportunities, and now YouTube TV is in play.
Yeah,
their transition into that is going to be very interesting as well, and if they can take market share.
Yeah, YouTube is strong.
Awesome. We still got 100 people, which respect for those who stayed through the technical difficulties and my shitty camera. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. We have our Stock Watch Sunday this Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, where we'll be giving you guys updates on what we expect from the market next week. and any particular headlines, as well as earnings that we have going on and the stocks that Brad are watching. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe, the notification bell, all the good things. And Freddie will be joining us again next Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. So Freddie, where can they find you?
Find me on Instagram at Freddie Valoy, and subscribe to my Patreon, patreon.com/Freddie Valoy. Thank you, Chaos Crew.
All right, brother Brad, you got anything?
That's it.
All right, we will see you on Sunday. Bye.
Bye.
Ming.